Hey guys, how's it going? It's the Crypto Lark here. Today we're finally talking about Stellar Lumens, open source distributed payments infrastructure. Cool. We're going to be talking about what Stellar's trying to do, what the competition is, what the exciting news around Stellar has been recently, and why it's probably performing so well in the markets at the moment. All of that and more after a quick shout out to everyone who has been hitting that like button. And of course, everybody who has been subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much to all of the new subscribers, and a massive shout out to the old subscribers who've been supporting the channel for a long time. It is much appreciated. And of course, this is not professional financial advice, guys. This is just a dude talking about cryptocurrencies on the internet. Let's check it out. Stellar Lumens has been around for quite a while, and they're an open source project that lets other people come in, build on top of them, super cheap transactions. There's a lot of use cases for Stellar. Remittances are one. Now we know that remittances have been quite a hot topic recently, with a lot of players coming in specifically targeting remittances. Companies like PIVX or Moeda, for example. Micropayments is another use case. This, of course, is also very interesting. With Stellar's stellarly low fees, really makes micropayments a real possibility. Fractions of a penny. Mobile branches for banking. Now, this is interesting. You can imagine as a bank sending your mobile branch around the country. I'm imagining great use cases for this in Africa, parts of Asia, places where there's not a lot of traditional infrastructure, but there are people with money who want banking services. Mobile money, right there, boom. This is where a lot of our lives already take place. Our money lives will increasingly take place here as well. If you can reach those people in those underserviced areas in the developing world, the 2 billion unbanked, well, very powerful, and obviously a lot of money to be made off of reaching these people. And of course, the good old underbanked people. The bottom of the pyramid, as they call them. Loans, micro savings, all of these different services can be offered to these people who are in need of these services. Now, Stellar has been reaching out to developers saying, hey, here's the software development kits. Go crazy, guys. And people have been. There has been a lot of business coming to the Stellar network recently. You can actually have a look at the Stellar network here too. This gives you a good overview of the network. It's up and running. Yay! You can actually look at how much Stellar has been distributed, how much is still to be distributed. Now, Stellar has been being distributed for free. It's obviously for sale on exchanges right now, but it was dropped basically to people who had Bitcoin or people who were XRP holders. They were able to come and claim Stellar Lumens at a given time. Unclaimed Stellar Lumens went back into a fund. More will simply be given out for free in the future in order to provide liquidity to the network. 5% of all Stellar Lumens are resting with the Stellar Foundation as a way to fund Stellar moving forward. And they also get some donations from some pretty big players like Stripe and Google to help keep them moving forward without having to basically be a for-profit model. So that's one of the big bonuses here with Stellar, is that they're running a non-profit organization, which is pretty interesting. That being said, their governance model isn't this utopian, decentralized, every coin holder gets a vote kind of thing. They have a board of directors that are, put in place and serve for life. So there's that to consider. The team is very interesting. They've got some great names on here, a lot of people with really good skills. One of the biggest personalities is Jed McCaleb. Now you might say, that name sounds familiar. Well, it should. He was the one who created Mt. Gox. Interesting. Now he sold this off after a while to another guy who ran it into the ground and when all the drama came out, but he was one who originally created it. it changed after he sold it. He also created another thing you might be interested in, Ripple. He's the founder of Ripple. Now, there was obviously a falling out that happened between the executive board at Ripple and Jed. In fact, Jed is one of the world's biggest holders of XRP. Billions. He has billions of them. It's quite astounding, actually. And so, there was some bad blood there. Stellar Lumens came out of it. It's an interesting story, one that we're not going to go into a lot of depth in here, but if you're more interested, there's a lot that has been written about that online. Stellar's got some really great partners. One at the top here is Tempo. This is a European remittance service based out of France, serving 43 countries and 3,000 network partners. That's pretty impressive. Obviously a great use case for Stellar Lumens as a technology. You can see right down the list here, all kinds of interesting partners. Big company names, Deloitte and Stripe. They're getting the right partnerships. The right people are coming on board. Obviously, IBM recently got involved as well. People have been talking about making Stellar Lumens ATMs. This was introduced at a recent fintech festival in Singapore. This doesn't mean that you go to the streets of Singapore and you will find these ATMs. No, they're working on them. The technology's there. We're looking forward to seeing deployment coming in the near future. The guys at Stellar have been pretty busy cruising around the world trying to drum up some business. They have recently been to Zug in Switzerland, which of course is called Crypto Valley, selling Stellar as a platform to have your ICO on. Faster, cheaper, better, they are saying. And of course, some people have responded to that, which is also very interesting. Ella, the director of partnerships at Stellar, also in a few days will be meeting over in South Korea, sitting on a panel with the CEO of AsiaPay, the CTO of KakaoPay. Now, Kakao is the company that just started Upbit, and the managing director of Visa International. Now, I'm not saying that they're all going to sit down and sign a deal and have Stellar do everything for them, but I'm just saying those are some interesting people to be sitting around with. Let speculation run from there. Mobius is an ICO that is being launched on the Stellar network right now. There's a lot of interest in Mobius. Currently, the pre-sale is only available for a $20,000 buy-in. Or there is a proof of care model, which lets you write articles or produce videos, for example, about Mobius, where they will then let you participate without that threshold of $20,000. But this is a quite anticipated ICO, this one, partially because it's on the Stellar network, partially because they're trying to do interesting things. Now, that will also have an immediate market on stronghold.co. That is basically the Stellar Lumens exchange. Obviously, you want to see it with a wider distribution across the exchange network, but there will be immediate possibility post-ICO to be moving your Mobius tokens around and selling them if that's what you want to do with them, of course. Stellar has just been integrated into Ledger. Nice. Now you, of course, can securely store your Stellar Lumens. The big news recently has been IBM. Huge player here. Basically, what is going on, IBM and ClickX and Stellar Lumens have all come together, and they're using Stellar Lumens for cross-border payments, particularly remittances from New Zealand and Australia. We have a lot of workers who come here from the Pacific Islands, from places like Fiji, Samoa, Tonga. They come here and work, and they need to send that money home. Now, as we know, looking into other remittance services, legacy remittance players screw people. If you can get the transaction fees down to fractions of a cent, wow. Really big potential here. And of course, not only are the transactions going to be cheaper, they're going to be quicker. using Stellar as well. That is a really great thing for the people who need to send those remittances, but also a great thing for Stellar as it's a good partnership. Now, if you want to think about competition for Stellar, you might think, wait a second, banking, remittances, doesn't that sound kind of like OmiseGo? Well, yeah, a little bit. It also sounds kind of a little bit like EverX or some others out there as well. None of these platforms go as far as Stellar does. Stellar is a whole ecosystem that's developing. OmiseGo is just OmiseGo. It's not going to be a global payments network in the same way that Stellar Lumens is trying to be a global payments network. Although OmiseGo is going to be a very powerful player in peer-to-peer payments and all these things, you won't be building an ICO, for example, on top of OmiseGo. That's a key difference to watch out for. Obviously, though, the real question is, how is Stellar Lumens different from Ripple? And that's probably the hardest question for a lot of people to answer. A lot of people think, well, they're just doing the exact same thing. There's no difference. Ripple's just better. That misses the point, to be honest, statements like that. What's Ripple focused on? Ripple's focused on decreasing the costs for banks and for corporations. And Ripple is a for-profit organization. Their technology, very similar. Ripple's seen probably more upgrades than Stellar has, but very similar. Stellar is all about increasing access to finance to people across the world, going for the lower part of the pyramid. Ripple's going for the top of the pyramid. Stellar's on the opposite end. Obviously, being a not-for-profit is nice, certainly sounds nice. There's space for both of these projects in the sector, to be honest. They're doing different things, using similar technology, almost the same technology, to be honest. Both great projects, both great teams, both have a lot of room for success. Now the question comes, Ripple's about $10 billion at the moment, market cap wise. Stellar has been stubbornly low for quite a long time. Under $1 billion still. You can look back here and see we've never seen the above $1 billion Stellar. Although we're getting close these days, that is for sure. Will we see that? It's coming. It's coming. Stellar is doing really well recently and definitely has a lot of potential moving forward as more people come to their network, and if they can continue attracting partners to their network. That's the important thing. They've been doing really well so far. We'll have to see how they keep going. If you want to pick yourself up some Stellar Lumens, you can rock over to Poloniex or Bittrex, of course, biggest exchanges, or you can even get some on Bitcoin Indonesia. Yeah, Bitcoin Indonesia. Woo! Interesting. The Indonesians are taking a big bite into Stellar Lumens as well. Obviously, Indonesia, a big use case for this exact kind of technology. I don't know if they're looking at it simply as a speculative thing, trading that in Bitcoin Indonesia, or if people in Indonesia will actually be using Stellar Lumens to pay remittances. Interesting questions. Anyway, let me know what you think about Stellar Lumens in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Long live the blockchain, and peace out till next time.